You better have seasoning, aye. Girl, the way that you look, man, I know it ain't no easy thing, aye. My sauce and my mix and blend, we are seasoning.
Welcome back to All Purpose Seasoning. I'm your host. No, I'm joking. Call me Miles, of course. I'm with Jay, Sonny, and Leo. I think I want to tap into something that I hope to tap into something that goes a bit deeper than just surface level. So, and you can take this question and answer it in whatever way you see fit, but try and think of it as a more deep question. Insecurities, right? Isn't insecurity something that you have because of expectations from other people, or is an insecurity something that you're potentially built with?
I'd say it's
Firstly, let me get your definitions on what you think an insecurity is.
An insecurity to me is something that's happened to you that maybe didn't go your way, that you're now aware of and conscious of. So the next time you're potentially in that scenario or situation, it's gonna be, you know that whole saying, once bitten, twice shy? Mm-hmm. It's an insecurity.
Okay, so remember your answer.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, I think mine's similar to Jay's, but I'd say like an insecurity is being conscious of a situation that's going to have a negative outcome for yourself.
I don't think there's any point in.
Hold on. Give an example.
Like for example, if my insecurity is that I find it hard to talk in front of people I don't know, I'm not going to go and do public speaking because I'd feel under pressure or awkward in them situations.
So remember your answers, Leo.
The dictionary definition is lack of...
No, yours.
Yeah, it's a lack of confidence or assurity in a specific circumstance.
You just read that. So I'm saying, what's yours?
That's what I understand it as well.
So that's what you'd say?
Yeah.
So say that again?
A lack of confidence or assurity.
Okay, so to bounce off of all of you and ask you all the same question. Is an insecurity a pressure or an influence from an external factor? Because you want to look good in X position, or like why would you feel insecure about something?
Yeah, but again, if a man's scared of water, and he's at the sea,
that's fear. That's not insecurity.
Insecurity would be like if I said to you,
it's a lack of confidence and assurity in swimming, potentially.
Yeah.
Or
regardless of people.
But I don't think you're insecure to swim because the risk or the danger, of swimming means that you could die, right?
But there is still a lack of confidence by putting yourself in water.
But that's different. That's different to insecurity.
It's the same.
But my point is,
if you put me on land, I know I'm walking.
Yeah.
But confidence and insecurity is two different things.
No, I remember you swimming in uni. Yeah.
All right.
I remember you swimming in uni.
That's far.
Listen,
do you remember that time? Do you remember that time?
I would never say that I'm insecure to swim.
Your
confidence just might not be as high.
And your confidence in your assurity in the pool is not strong. Man.
Do you not remember the time we almost drowned?
Who?
When we went to go tap the thing.
No.
Do you remember? We went to go tap the thing, and then we tried to swim back, and the current was mad.
Who's we?
Napa.
Who's we?
Yeah.
Well, did you not come out with us?
I was sick that time.
Yeah. Do you remember how hard it was to... Bruv, I was panicking.
But hold on.
Sorry. Sorry, my bad.
So all of your answers here. So what my question is that... Forget the Wikipedia bollocks. I don't agree with that shit.
Bro, his answer here was so jarring.
It just gets on my nerves. Like
the dictionary said.
Let me fucking Google it. And
Leo, I think you've done well, mate.
You've done well, when he said that. No, the dictionary said.
I don't understand. Thank you.
No,
I appreciate it. What's the point in tiptoeing around the understandings when we got the actual definition?
Who wrote that? That's someone's opinion of what it is.
No, it's a dictionary definition.
That is gospel.
Who wrote the dictionary?
It's a guideline.
A man or a woman, right?
So when the words you're using right now to mean what you want them to mean, who wrote?
When you say,
why are you using?
Answer my question.
If you're not going to take them as gospel.
But when you say, hold on a minute. No, what you talking about? If you say, that's bad, you don't mean bad as in it's not good. You mean it's bad as in good.
But that's colloquialisms and terminology. That's different.
I don't even know what colloquialism means. Spell it.
All he was doing was...
Hey,
what I'm trying to say anyway. Let me draw this back. So what I'm trying to ask is, why are for all of you, why do people feel insecure? Forget Wikipedia, but why do you think people feel insecure about X situation?
Yeah, I think there's certain things I think there's different levels to it. I think some insecurities can come from what you think society's perception of it. One example is like body shaming. So for example, you might feel if I'm not 6-pack or big arms or whatever, I shouldn't be like, I don't know, on a beach with my top off. That's an insecurity. I think that media and things, maybe like everyone you see is polished and nice on TV or whatever, like wherever it may be, is making you feel that you can't go and do that. But in reality, you can go do what you want. No, 99% of people there probably ain't even care what you're doing. But the insecurity of thinking that I have to look like, you know, I'm a bodybuilder or whatever, to take my top off and be on the beach and be comfortable is an insecurity that...
Is that not confidence and assurance?
Hey, listen, I'm with you, Leo. The mad thing is...
But you're missing a question. Is that so? What he's saying is that external factors have affected or influenced him to think I can't take my top off because X, Y, and Z.
Wait, the difference is, I agree with that definition. The difference is how it's applied to you as an individual and your experience. What he said fits that definition.
No, I'm not saying his definition was
not
wrong.
That it's wrong. I'm not saying that it was wrong. I'm not saying
that's
that
what I'm
was
trying
wrong.
to say.
I'm just saying it was a good guideline.
My question isn't about what is the definition. We moved on from that. I'm asking.
I get that.
Is that definition?
Yeah.
Can you take anything but an external influence and apply it to that definition?
Yourself.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No. For example, the reason I say yourself.
What do you mean anything but an external?
His example was good because it's him, not him. But if a man looks at himself and doesn't feel he is muscular or cut up or torn, it's an insecurity. You're now the factor.
That's external.
So what I'm trying to
is it external or internal?
No. So what I'm trying to say is the reason why you don't feel comfortable to take off your top on the beach or in the pool and wherever it is because society or external factors have told you you're not meant to look like that when you're on the beach or the pool.
It's
an external factor.
Only factor I'm saying.
I'm using that loosely. I'm saying. So what my question is, and maybe I can word it differently, but I'm not going to. Is can you take something that isn't an external factor and apply it to being insecure?
Give an example of it.
Yeah, bro. Break that down.
I can understand it better.
So I can only give external factors. I can only give so if I had an insecurity of like,
just say you don't understand.
For example,
because that's what I said 3 minutes ago, and motherfuckers was laughing at me.
I said break it down.
Hold on. I got skinny wrists, right? So
you do.
I'm insecure about my wrists because I can't wear nice watches, for example. Yeah. So why would I be insecure about having skinny wrists because I can't wear watches? Because other people might think, he's got skinny wrists.
But is that your reason?
So I'm saying, no, I'm just saying that's an external factor that makes me feel insecure about it. Do you get it?
But is that your reason why you can't? Because
I'm saying hypothetically. Let's say the reason why I don't wear watches is because I've got skinny wrists. I'm saying that hypothetically. So I'm saying the reason why I wouldn't want to wear a watch is maybe because it brings attention to my skinny wrists. And it makes, I think it makes other people think, that guy's got skinny wrists, man. He can't wear those.
Yeah, but that's a self-esteem issue.
But it's external factor that's setting the expectation of me onto me of I can't do this because they might think X, Y, and Z.
What you're saying is, if we took that external factor away, take the body issue, like going to the beach or whatever. Yeah. If that narrative from the media and everything was never there, then would that person feel insecure doing it?
Right.
Probably.
Okay.
I think it matters.
Let me give you another example, right?
I don't think. Can I just?
But there's insecurities and then there's self-esteem.
Yeah, and I think
they're the two ends of the spectrum. I would say.
And I say they're closer than ends.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're very much intrinsically linked.
I agree.
So, I just want to say, when it comes to your example that you've given,
which was what the wrist thing.
Yeah, the wrist circumstance. It's about how you internalize whatever society tells you. Because society.
So you said internalize it. So you take it from the outside in.
So
external.
So but life is based on external circumstances.
Not always.
So most definitely. So
you can't put stuff out into the world.
I'm not saying you can't put stuff out into the world, but that is a choice. So let me break down what I'm trying to say, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you define the fact that you are slim?
How do I define it?
How do you know that you are a slim person?
In comparison
to
the opposite,
which is
not slim, big in it or whatever. I don't know.
Just say it.
Fat.
No, there you go. Thank you.
Say fat. I say big.
You have to compare to something.
So
there's always a comparison.
And how do you define? Do you think you're a handsome man? Yes or no?
I'm alright, innit?
Oh, brother, come on, man.
I'm alright, innit?
Do you think? Okay, all right. Do you think you're a reasonably good looking guy?
I'm alright, innit?
All right. So how do you know you're
in comparison again? So there's always an external thing to compare it to.
So you are internalizing things in society that basically
from external in.
So the point is, society tells us a multitude of things.
Of course.
And it's not in any one circumstance that we are told any one thing. It is throughout life we are told multiple different things. We're told that in society, to be able to walk around on a beach, you must have a beach body. Yeah, remember on the trains when they had the beach body ready, and that sparks up a whole heap of stupidness and whatever else. Or ideas or understandings of attractiveness is based on being a size 6 model or whatever it is for women, or having great lashes, or I don't know what it is. But you see, even with the generation of women now, where they wear a lot of makeup, or they want to use the contouring or whatever it is that they're doing. But the perception is, the understanding is that most things come from an external source.
Okay, hold on. Let me pause. Because none of you understood my question. So I'm just saying, most things come from an external source. Is what you said, right?
Yeah.
So what my question was in the beginning that no one understood was, is it possible to have an insecurity based on something that isn't an external source?
Of course.
I think so.
So what's the example?
I think there's a few though, because
give me one.
So you're saying,
I'll come with
so your question is, forget what society tells us. Can you be insecure about something that society doesn't tell us? Is that what you're trying to say?
You can be insecure of your weight, not because of what society says you look like, because you physically don't like the way you look.
Why?
Okay, you may have been skinny before and then gained weight.
Okay.
And then now no one's told you nothing. You just know, right, I used to be like this. Now I'm like this.
So then the question would be, why were you happy when you were slim? That's what I'd ask.
I agree with Martin in this. I don't think that's a great example, because obviously the concept.
But do you understand my question now?
The concept of looking good is not being over a particular weight. That's
never said looking good. I said feeling good.
Both.
If you're naturally skinny,
it can have an impact on you though.
But it's an internal thing. There's no other factor than your own change in weight. So if a man's skinny or a girl's skinny, and then a few years later they've piled on some weight, they now feel a way. It's no one else's external influence than their own.
You say that, but we all understand that the perception of being overweight or obese is not a positive one.
Compared to you based on 3 years ago.
Based on what society tells us.
Right.
And there is examples.
If you would be told,
there is examples where it does work for people. Biggie, Big Pun. But there is examples.
But truth be told, obesity and whatever else, you've got plus size models, you've got people who embrace, and we use that word embrace because it's still deemed a negative terminology.
I was just going to say, the fact that they say plus, why are they not just called models?
Exactly.
So the fact that
I'm not even
and that opens up a bigger door.
But I'm not going.
Why you have to label?
So let me.
I'm not going that deep.
No, I didn't mean that.
So let me revert.
Oh shit! I'm about to get murdered on the internet.
You know what I'm saying? Let me revert back to what you said, Jay. And
as an example,
and you were saying obviously about gaining weight and them. Individual actually
make them insecure,
making themselves.
If you knew you was in shape before,
that is still based upon a perception of
what's in shape.
Exactly.
I'm not questioning you. I'm saying
so
hypothetically.
Society tells us a certain physical
what in shape looks like
prototype is positive, and another physical prototype is not.
My example was based on
feeling. Yeah.
Just you and the mirror. If you were in shape,
doing up MJ, bro.
What do you
mean? Man in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You ain't clocking.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, go on. Continue.
So, hold on.
There was no flavour to that.
Let me just dissect what you're saying. And
if somebody was in shape for a lot of their life and then got lazy and then gained weight and then they realised, wow, I'm fat now. I need to do something. I used to be like this. I don't like how I'm looking right now because I know what I can be. Is that not what's the external influence?
Let me counter. So I would ask that hypothetical person, why did you feel good when you were in shape?
I had more stamina, more endurance. I could walk further. I could blah, 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 blah. Now I can't do them kind of things.
So some of those, but you're not touching on the subconscious though. And I think that's the issue because, as I said, there's a lot.
So look, I don't look like I don't look like you used to, and what is perceived to be. No, not
good.
at all. But for you though, If a person, not you, but that person, if that person was slim and they loved how they look and then they gained weight and they don't like how they look, there's no other external factor than their own process. Is my point.
I hear
because you're only comparing to you how you used to.
Do you know what I prefer?
But where's the external factor?
If you reverse it and say somebody who is overweight then? Somebody
What?
who was bigger,
Yeah,
and
and
so
then
they don't like the fact
So
that
they lost
they're
their
now skinny,
appetite and they lost bare weight.
and they would love to be fat again.
What's your point?
That's the same thing.
So that's what
As
I'm
in,
saying.
Mine
Do
was
you-
a bit more
using Jay's
realistic
example, it's the same
though.
thing.
Like,
because obviously society doesn't tell us that fat is good.
I never said.
That's-
I
that's-
never.
that's just the-
I
that's
didn't
just the
say
na- the
anything
natural order of
about what society told that particular person.
But you're
That
ignoring.
person felt
That's like
better.
saying. That's like somebody saying, "I don't see color," or "I don't see gender," or "I don't see."
not really. Okay,
You're
for example.
you're ignoring something that society
No.
pushes in our face.
Let me break it down even more simple.
If I describe you, Jay, I'm gonna say
Good point.
he's 6'3",
I hear you.
black guy, he's about 2 guys wide, whatever. Yeah,
Well
I'm-
built. Nah,
whatever,
sorry, I was
man.
gonna start gassing myself.
But
yeah,
the
go on.
point is, I've described your physical appearance. If a man says, "I don't see color," that's bullshit. Yeah.
But
in the
you've
same
gone
way,
left.
if you
Yeah,
say
you've gone way left, bro.
no, but I'm saying if you don't see size, that's bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. to
Again, you've gone away from my point.
Yeah,
Back to- so
how
if,
so?
if I break
I get
it down,
what you're
for example, if a man wears blue all his life, and then all of a sudden he wears green, and it's like, wow, I don't even like this, man. I'm wearing green. I don't even feel. Let me go back to blue. There was no other external factor.
There's
than
no
the change.
stigma around wearing green or blue.
But I'm not trying to talk stigma.
Hold on. Let me hone it in a bit.
I'm not trying to
You
talk.
stay hold
He
on.
said take away external influences,
Yeah.
and I did.
So
There was no external
Let me
factor.
hone in. Let
That's
me
my
hone this
point.
in so that the conversation focuses a little bit.
Mm.
Is it possible to have an insecurity that doesn't attach fear to it? Like, if you're gonna describe, not that way, if you're gonna define insecurity, would you use the word fear
Not necessarily.
in that
A little bit.
definition?
A little bit.
So then by agreeing or disagreeing, if you're agreeing, how do you, back to my initial question, if fear is always attached to insecurity, that fear comes from somewhere, right? Whatever that is. How is it? I don't believe you can have an insecurity that's not based on external factors. That's my belief. Which is why I
Most
asked
of
the
the
question
time,
the first
I
time.
agree with you.
So-
you
so-
just asked me to challenge it.
No,
and I
of course.
Yeah,
and that's
I
why I
hear
put
that.
the question out there, is because I don't think it's possible to have that. But I'd like to know if there is an example where someone can be insecure of something that isn't influenced by something that's external, whether it's your confidence, your strength, your whatever it is. I don't think it's possible to have an influence that isn't external. Because we always, like you said, if you're slim, how do you know you're slim? Because I compare it to,
Yeah.
if you're weak, how do you compare it to strong? Like, there's always a comparison.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but I think sometimes, when we look at things, not just us, I think in general as people, when we look at things, we're so quick, not quick, but we so much want to categorize it as white or black, but there is just grey areas. You get me? Sometimes it might be subconsciously I'm looking at what the narrative is in terms of you have to look a certain way. I'm just going to take the weight issue again, it's an easy one to work around, but like, you have to look, if you're a man, for example, you have to be, well built, slim, in shape, look, whatever, like, but it might just be my insecurity in myself without even looking at that, I don't want to look overweight. That might be just on me. I mean, no one's ever said anything to me, and it's not influenced by watching TV, or even though it probably is subconsciously, but I just have that little feeling in me that, I just don't want to look like this. Do you know what I mean? Same way I'm sure that, like when Biggie come out, heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever.
However, I stay Gucci
down to the south.
You get me? Like he
Rings
was
and watch,
comfortable in his own
rocks.
skin.
Emma
You know what I'm
Jam
saying?
nuts in the Mitsubishi. Sorry.
Yeah, karaoke.
I'm saying, like he was
My bad. I love
comfortable.
that
He was
tune
comfortable,
still.
and he played that well, and he worked for him.
So let me give you an example.
But that's self-esteem, though.
Can I before
Yeah,
you
but that's what I'm
give
saying. That's the grey area. I
Yeah.
don't think we can go with black and white.
I
There's
get
a grey
you.
area.
And one thing I want to say is I don't think it's actually beneficial to remove an understanding of external factors or fears, because so you're saying let's take away fears or societal pressures.
No, I'm saying can you?
What do you mean?
I
Can
didn't-
you take away that?
I'm saying can you take away those external factors and fear and have an example that is an insecurity? That's what my question is.
You can.
I think
It's just not common.
I think society and external pressures
Creates.
have, in general, for most people, I'm not for all, for most people, have an impact on what they see themselves as.
I agree.
That's
Billion %.
It's just as simple as that. Some people are free enough where again, and I'm going to bring up plus size models and all that sort of stuff, where they
Happy
understand,
in that.
they're
They're
happy in their body. They don't care what other people think about them. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with an example. Right, there is no stigma around having big lips. So me,
Depends who you ask.
no, me as a child, right? Big. That's what they was used to say about me. Yeah. It's like, oh, big lip, Leo, all these things. There.
Did you go to a white school?
No. In secondary school, like half of secondary school, yes. But that was
That's
a
not
thing.
where that came from.
But it was from primary school that you used to say things like that. But for me, as a kid, that wasn't insecure. And to be honest, it probably still will touch a nerve. I can just handle it now. You see what I'm saying?
if the people that were saying Big Lip Leo were, I assume, black or
They were black, they were white, they were Asian, they were
them
Chinese,
same
they were
people-
everybody.
So did it not matter if another black or Asian or whatever had big lips and was saying that to you? Because you can only really say. But I'm saying you can only say Big Lip Leo if you don't have big lip, right? Like
No.
No, not
that's
necessarily.
like saying Bigfoot Craig
Yeah,
and
nah.
Craig's got size 11 like me. Like that doesn't make sense.
Nah, it doesn't.
In the playground, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's just a
it
gun.
doesn't-
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But what it did was causing insecurity, and in my case, as a child, it made me feel like, oh shit, I don't want to have big lips now.
Most insecurities are triggered.
Because
So was there any
because-
fear attached to that?
Because no, but I
Nah,
didn't-
it's self-subconscious.
When I
You'll be
looked at
self-conscious.
myself as a kid, though, I didn't see an ugly kid. You know, so I didn't look in the mirror and not like anything.
Yeah.
It was only what externally other people or other children or other things
Put
that would
onto
happen
you that made you conscious
that
of
were
that.
placed on me, made me conscious of what I was, what I looked like, what I did. So there are many aspects of what makes us as people, right? And with that being the case, we also define ourselves based on what other people tell us.
Which is
we
the
are.
insecurity, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
but for you, with what you're saying, if there can be external elements taken out, most of the time, no. Yeah, because we're human. End of the day, it can be, but it's not common because, like you were saying, most insecurities are triggered. You don't wake up and have. Most of the time, you won't wake up and be insecure. Something, someone, or somewhere would have influenced that thought process for you to be aware of it.
Okay.
For example, if you're in a relationship and you love that person and they cheat on you, you now have trust issues. You didn't really have that before. These things are triggered.
What about if it's something you haven't experienced before? So, for example, like one of my biggest.
It's impossible to have an insecurity
Let me
without an
land.
experience.
Let me land. One of my
Take
biggest
off
fears.
nicely and then I'll let you land. No, I'm joking. Go on, do your thing.
You ain't even got the wheels down, bro. Get me?
Go on.
Please, please.
No, my example. So one of my biggest fears, or my only real fear, and I guess you can call it insecurity, is to be a shit dad, right? And I don't have kids. I don't think. So I don't. So
You can't say that,
so,
man.
no, I'm saying. No, so what I'm saying is,
Jay's so uncomfortable with what you just said.
I'm playing. No, what I'm saying is that I've never been a dad.
Yeah.
So how can I have an insecurity? If you're saying you have to have an experience for you to be insecure or fear something, I have an insecurity about being a bad dad. So
It's not an insecurity, it's a fear. An insecurity is different to a fear.
But you
a
attach fear to it,
A fear can be attached to an insecurity.
Again,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but just
They're not
because
synonymous.
it's attached to it doesn't mean
I
it's...
feel if someone said to me, "What's one of your insecurities?" I wouldn't say anything physical. I would, not because I'm vain or anything. I'd just be like, because I don't want to be a shit dad. That's the only thing I feel scared about.
I would call that insecurity.
What would you call it? A fear.
Fear, yeah.
But why can't I be insecure about it?
Because you never
Because there's
experienced
no.
it yet.
Because that's the only thing.
You can't lack confidence or assurance about something that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So okay, so cool. So you're saying I can't do that because there's no external factor.
No, not because it's not that there's
Because
no.
I can't compare myself to anything.
No,
Right?
Nah, 'cause
it
you
hasn't
haven't-
happened.
it hasn't
You've got
happened.
no tangible circumstance to apply it to.
Yeah.
So I can't be insecure.
It's a concept you've
about something that
created.
hasn't happened yet.
It's a concept
No.
you've created
Why
and
not?
thought
No,
away
I'm with
about.
Marlon. I think you
Why
can be insecure about things that haven't happened.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what?
Imagine
for
that-
what reason though?
Alright, so that's like saying the person I was speaking about before in the last pod about the girl I knew who's never been in a relationship, right? 20, whatever she is. She would be insecure about being a good girlfriend.
No,
Because- hold on,
you
hold
can't
on.
say that.
Let me
You
land.
can't
No,
say that.
I'm not saying she would. I'm saying hypothetically, she could feel insecure about being a good girlfriend, even though she's never been a good girlfriend before.
Yeah,
Tell me that I'm wrong.
Back to the beach analogy.
Trying
back,
you, bro.
back to the beach analogy. You might have never taken your top off from the beach to feel insecure about it, but you just feel insecure about
Might
taking
never
it.
been to a beach
You know what I'm
before.
saying?
Why
But
would
you
you
feel
feel like that though?
But then we can't speak from that angle because we're not feeling it. You
All
know
right.
what I mean?
So, for example, why do you feel like you would be not being a good dad is an insecurity? Why do you feel like that?
It's a good question. Because
Because you can deal with that.
comparison comes out of that.
It's fair
The
opinion.
comparison comes out of that in sense of saying, I know good dads.
Yeah.
So I'd want to be like them.
But then you've got.
So it's the fear of not maybe being as good as them.
But then
That makes sense.
you've already armed yourself with examples of good role models.
But not experiences, which is what you said.
Exactly. So then for your particular example, you can challenge that and finish that in a nighttime because you can read about it. You can follow other good YouTube channels on good parenting and good dads and groups.
To make
whatever.
me feel like actually I want
Exactly.
to be a good dad. Yeah.
So you can eradicate that whole fear before you've even experienced
And
it.
and it never becomes an insecurity.
Yeah.
Insecurity is a lack of assurance or confidence in something that has happened or is happening.
Is that what the thing is?
That's what it is.
So happened and happening is current and past tense.
How can you be how can you be insecure about something that is never happened?
That's what my question is.
You can, man. That is
what-
ridiculous, bro.
But that's not insecurity.
No, it's fear.
Yeah.
Fear and insecurity are different.
I disagree
Because you're
with
that
that.
person on the beach, you're not scared of taking their top off. They feel insecure what someone might say to them. But
Yeah.
they've never done it. They've never done it. They've never been
Because
to it.
why? Because why?
Exactly. You can
Because they
challenge
don't want
that.
someone to say something to them.
You can challenge that.
Why? I'm gonna ask why again. I'm gonna keep
I
asking
don't.
why.
I've never
until-
been in that situation. No, you're gonna keep asking why until I come to your conclusion.
No,
You're not
No,
listening to
no,
my
no,
conclusion. You get me?
not
You're
my
listening to my
conclusion.
conclusion.
Not my conclusion, but that's not a rationale. You're saying they're just scared because they're scared.
Which can be.
But what's the rationale?
I've
behind
never
it?
jumped off a bridge, bro, but I'm scared of it.
Because
That's
why?
fair.
Because why?
It's fear though.
All right.
Because
all right,
why?
All right.
If
Here's
you
a-
ask me,
here's a
Leo,
perfect
why are you scared to
example.
jump off a bridge? Because I'm scared of heights.
Hey, no.
I
Here's a-
don't want to jump off the
heights.
Ross
I'm not scared of
Class.
heights.
Listen,
You get me?
I'm not scared of
Here's a
heights.
perfect
No, I'm
example.
not jumping off a bridge.
Let's say all my life I've worked in IT. I get to the age of 45, whatever, and I'm like, do you know what? I've done IT, nothing else to learn. Let me move into to sales. But I'm super insecure to move into sales. Because I'm so good at IT, I have no idea what I'm capable of sales.
fair,
Hold
I
on.
think
Just-
we're mixing
let me
insecurity
land.
and fear.
I agree,
The
I agree.
word is wrong.
So
The
to
word
bring
is
up
wrong.
fear.
Now let me finish.
Bring
Go on,
up fear.
finish.
Bring up fear on
not
your
at
phone.
all, because we're not talking
But are
fear.
we just
What
relying
I'm
too
saying
much on
is,
definitions?
I
and
think
not-
it's okay,
Nah.
and whether it's definition or not, I feel like it's okay. In my example of going from IT to a different sector, I can feel insecure because I know my capabilities and my strength is ITT, right, and whatever that is. Moving into sales, I have no idea what my strengths would be like. That's an insecurity.
Let me wash that. Let me extinguish that real
Can I
quick.
can I give this definition first, please?
Is this fear?
Yeah.
I was about to
Fear.
bring out the fire extinguisher.
You know what I'm saying? Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. To be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or harmful.
Okay.
Just-
So
you
then
just
it
killed
depends on
someone,
what.
you just killed
It depends.
someone.
How have I?
No,
Because
no,
you're not
no, I
fearful of
haven't.
taking top off.
How do you define
insecure of
harmful?
taking top off?
So not the fear. The
It's
fear.
watch now.
It's
Because
a
watch.
fear.
The reason why his example was a fear is because he can be trained as a salesperson.
But that doesn't mean you can't have an insecurity before you go to a job.
Yeah.
No,
but
you
then,
can
yeah,
be
but
fearful of it.
for example, now watch.
But he's
Now
not
watch. Now
fearful of
watch.
taking his top off
Hey,
because
watch
he
though.
gets in the bath every day.
But watch
He's
though,
insecure
yeah?
of taking his top off in front of other people.
Nah, but
He's
watch
not
though.
fearful of taking his top off because he does it every day.
But hold on,
watch.
but the insecurity comes from not knowing how good I'm going to be when I do
But
it.
watch though. No, wait.
Unpleasant emotion.
Hey, watch this though.
Unpleasant emotion.
That's insecurity.
Unpleasant. No,
Nah,
an
it's not.
Why is it
unpleasant
not?
emotion
It's
is
not.
unpleasant emotion caused by threat of danger, pain, or harm. Harm to
Okay.
harm
to
to
what? Physical harm?
No,
Mental
it
harm?
could be
Harm,
ego.
emotional harm?
ego, emotion.
Yeah.
All right. So me moving into a new job that I've never been in before, what is that?
That can be dealt
That's
with.
an emotional harm
Yeah,
to
but
me.
you can.
That's fear.
No, but watch.
That's what it's saying.
Watch.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Watch.
Relax, man.
Now watch. No.
What's the
Watch.
thing in Friends? Does he do that? Like, relax.
This one.
Yeah, it's alright.
Let me put
Wait,
my
Leo,
inside
let it
voice
out,
on.
man.
Sorry,
Go,
man.
watch
Go
it.
for
No,
it.
because
Let
these
it
men are
out.
chatting shit, bro. I'll be honest.
Let it out, bro.
Sometimes.
So hold on. So
I'll be honest.
no.
Watch. Let me just say this. For your
About the
example,
ICT one, yeah.
So for your example, you're fearful of the role because it's an unknown.
Right.
You're not
That's
sure
why does it have to be fear, not insecurity?
because it can be taught. You can be tutored. You
Yeah.
can have a one-to-one session. You can connect with other people in sales to give you the confidence for the role.
Okay.
So hold on.
Okay,
Secondly,
cool. Yeah.
for his example, when he was saying about the big lip thing, like he has, like that's an esteem thing because there's nothing he can do.
Because it's external, right?
No, because other people created that. Other people,
Well, you can.
yeah,
You don't wanna
true,
go down
true.
But hold on.
But other people created that atmosphere for him to feel away
So
from.
I want to touch on your training
there's-
thing.
Hold on, there's nothing he can. Well, like obviously other than surgery, there's nothing else he can do
That would
to
change
go
his
over
appearance.
to overcome that insecurity because other people created it.
All right.
Yeah, he has to deal with
Let
that.
me touch on what you said about
You
training.
can be trained and developed,
All right. Perfect example.
which
right?
is a choice.
Perfect example. So let's say what's an area you've never probably been into? Let's say I don't know, karate. Yeah? They say you've never done karate before, and I say
karate.
You got to go and fight this black belt. Yeah, you know this black belt is renowned for just like fucking people up.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't do that. Why?
You might.
No, I'm saying hypothetically.
Yeah, from fear.
Hypothetically.
And from fear, lack of...
I heard you the first time, man.
Yeah, but watch though. Yeah, but fear, lack of skill, lack of understanding, all of that.
So, okay.
But that wouldn't stop me from going.
No. So let me ask you. I'm saying hypothetically. I'm not saying you, just in general. So we've touched on the fear. The reason why you wouldn't do that is because you lack of skill. So it's okay to feel insecure that you would not beat that man. No?
That's not insecurity. It's
No, I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question.
Why would I be insecure? Insecure means you don't believe in yourself.
It's insecurity.
Exactly. That wouldn't stop me. That wouldn't stop me from going.
Exactly. You're answering this from your point of view, which I understand. But I'm the same.
I swear to God, you know. But I'm saying you're answering it from Jay. I'm saying hypothetically.
I can't answer hypothetical.
Of course you can.
Yeah, but then I could
or
say
someone
no.
else do that then.
Yeah, but if in that scenario, I could say that person would say no, I'm not doing it.
Why?
I don't know why.
I think we should let Leo talking now.
I don't know his logic.
You know it is. He's drank too much water, man.
Please let him talk.
He's drank too much
Leo, I'm
water.
with you on this.
Leo, let it out now. Let it out. Don't start speaking all soft
Anyway,
now.
do you know,
Bring that
you know,
energy.
listen. On the real note, let's wrap up because obviously certain man are like.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
they're
not.
A bit too dehydrated.
Do you know what it? No,
bit
it's
too
not
hydrated
that.
over
It's
there.
that. It's the perspectives are strong and
And that's okay. And that's the reason why it's a good topic to talk about. So let me draw it back to the first question I ever asked him.
No, I want Leo to get off his chest. He wants to get off his chest. I want to
he's
hear
about
it.
to take his top off in a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Leo, I'm with you, man. I'm ride with you.
Alright, so let me draw it back. So I can't even concentrate. I'll draw it back here. So my initial question was about insecurity, and we attached fear to it and definitions and all this stuff, right?
You attached fear.
We all did. Bruv.
I didn't.
You're there talking about fear. It's the fear. It's fear. It's fear. It's fear. It's fear. So what I'm saying is that clearly there is a science, I believe, or whether it's a social science, I don't know, or psychological science, to insecurities. Yeah, would you agree with that? What's wrong?
I was just saying, Leo, you ain't gonna say nothing.
He's too hydrated.
I'm just listening to him.
So I'm saying there is a science to insecurity. I would say because you can attach all these other emotions to it. Would you say, and if maybe you're not open to admitting so, but would you say any of you have a particular insecurity? You don't have to share what it is.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh shit! Because I'm just gonna kill my own argument, but I don't feel.
You have to say
I don't feel I got insecurity. I think I've got some fears.
Bring it to the table. B. Bring it to the table.
You have to say what it is.
I don't think I got.
I just want to know if you have insecurities.
I don't think not at this stage of my life.
Okay.
Not at this stage.
Again,
What would you say?
Yeah. I'd say
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be whatever.
Yeah.
And you would say. I would say.
I have a couple. Nothing strong though, and just my last bit on it, and then you lot can.
No. Hold on. There's a second round to it. So all of us said we have, maybe not you, insecurities, right? Are any of those insecurities anything that you can do anything about?
Of course.
Yeah, the insecurities that I've had in the past are definitely something you can do stuff about.
I think insecurities are more connected to self-esteem than they are to fear, because insecurity can be overcome.
I mean, what Jay said about self-esteem is because the reason I haven't got insecurities at this age because I don't really care. It doesn't fit me.
Well, get me. So in your example of the black belt, self-esteem will be more of a factor than insecurity, because if you don't, he could be the don in his league. If I believe in myself, regardless of my level of ability, I'll still go.
Yeah, singing like donkey, bro. I believe.
I believe. Get me.
This guy, man.
Franchise me today.
No, but I agree with you because as much as I'm chatting shit now. I'm not
I'm sick of this guy, you know.
I'm chatting rubbish, but look, I'm just saying when it comes to it, I actually agree with what you're saying. If you believe in you and whatever it is that you want to do or what you're
doesn't
trying
mean you'll beat him.
Regardless, does that matter?
It doesn't matter. But then you've
matter.
got no fear or insecurity in that
Exactly.
circumstance.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
If you can feel confident enough to do that.
Comes down to the individual.
I agree.
Insecurities are triggered most of the time, but self-esteem can overcome that.
No, I agree.